Corporate manipulation, how power really works behind the walls. Most people believe corporate success is about skills, performance, and hard work. That's what we're taught. That's what resumes are built on. That's what LinkedIn celebrates. But what no one explains clearly is this: performance alone does not protect you in corporate life. Power moves silently, long before decisions are announced. And this book exists because I've seen how that silence works. Corporate manipulation doesn't look like shouting, threats, or obvious abuse. It looks professional. It looks calm. It looks strategic. It hides behind meetings, feedback, alignment discussions, and words like culture and business needs. Most damage happens quietly. It happens when feedback suddenly becomes vague, when meetings stop including you, when responsibilities slowly change without explanation, when people who once relied on you begin distancing themselves, when conversations feel different, but no one explains why. And the worst part is you start blaming yourself. You think you're overthinking. You think you're becoming insecure. You think you're imagining the shift, but you're not. What's actually happening is that power has already started moving, and you're no longer part of the center of that movement. This book is not theory. It's not motivation. It's not written from the outside looking in. It's written from observation, from being inside rooms where decisions are shaped quietly, from watching how narratives are formed without the subject present, and from seeing how loyalty slowly turns into liability when circumstances change. One of the biggest myths in corporate life is that transparency is real. Most organizations talk about transparency, but what they practice is controlled visibility. You are shown only what you're meant to see at the moment it benefits the system. Truth is rarely spoken directly in corporate environments, not because people are evil, but because truth creates accountability, and accountability threatens power. So instead of truth, systems rely on ambiguity, delayed clarity, selective communication, and silence. Silence is not absence. Silence is information. When something is not being said, it's usually intentional. Another hard truth this book addresses is that power does not always sit with titles. Some of the most influential people in organizations are not leaders on paper. They are close to decision makers. They control narratives. They influence perception. They decide what version of events reaches the top. If you don't understand this invisible hierarchy, you will always feel confused when outcomes don't match your effort. That confusion is not accidental. It keeps people compliant. It keeps people competing with each other instead of questioning systems. It keeps people blaming themselves instead of reading the environment. And over time, that confusion becomes psychological damage. You don't collapse in one day. You slowly lose clarity. You slowly doubt your instincts. You slowly disconnect from who you were. By the time the final decision arrives, whether it's a role change, removal, or exit, your nervous system has already been living in survival mode for months. This book exposes that process, but it doesn't stop at exposure, because awareness without direction creates fear. And this book is not about fear. It's about clarity and survival. It teaches you how to read invisible moves early, how to protect your reputation when narratives are forming, how to understand when loyalty is being tested without your consent, how to recognize when feedback is no longer developmental but political. Most importantly, it teaches you how to protect your identity. Corporate systems can replace roles easily, but they cannot replace a grounded individual who understands their worth. The later sections of this book move into reinvention because damage, if understood properly, can become direction. you learn how to rebuild yourself after invisible damage. How to outgrow environments that no longer align with your evolution. How to stop repeating cycles of self-betrayal. How to become someone who never inflicts on others what was done to you. This book is not anti-corporate. It's anti-ignorance. It does not tell you to quit impulsively. It tells you to seek clearly, because once you understand how power actually works, it loses its ability to confuse you. And clarity is protection. If you're watching this video and something inside you feels unsettled, that's not weakness, that's awareness beginning. You're not broken. You're not imagining the shift. You're not overthinking the silence. You're seeing something most people never stop long enough to notice. This book doesn't tell you what to do. It shows you what to notice. And once you notice, you can never be manipulated the same way again. That's what corporate manipulation, how power really works behind the walls, is about.